Hi, and welcome along to DR Sports. We're here for a new season of A Game of Two Halves, featuring myself and Mark Goldbridge. How you doing, Mark? How's things?
Not well. I'm happy to have the Premier League back, but obviously it wasn't the result I wanted yesterday. I went with a draw. Obviously, you went with a win, but it's a weird one. It is a weird one. I think it's a weird opening weekend, really. There's teams that had bad results that can have positives, and there's teams that had good results where they probably go, are we ready yet? But it's opening weekend, and I think it's just about winning. And unfortunately, you lot did.
Yeah, of course, we're talking about the game yesterday. It was Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. I was at the game. And yeah, you are right, Mark. Arsenal, I didn't think we were at our best, especially in an attacking sense, especially. We looked very, very flat up front. Wasn't the greatest day for new boy Victor Gyökeres. He couldn't get into the game. I thought Saka was very, very quiet, and Martinelli. But defensively, that thing that's been holding up Arsenal for a long time, or there's been the bedrock of Arsenal for a long time, that combination of Gabriel Saliba at the back, and of course Raya in goal, who's probably, for me, the man of the match for us. And contrasting with your goalkeeper, who had an absolute nightmare for that goal. I mean, Mark, I was saying this to a couple of your fans yesterday. It's all well and good going out and signing, your Cunhas and Mbeuemos, who, by the way, I thought they played well and are going to be very good signings for United. And I'm sure we'll get to the encouraging signs that they showed. But how comes Manchester United have not signed a goalkeeper? It was a problem for United last season and the season before. And it looks like if they don't sort out something before the end of the window, it's going to be a problem this season as well.
Yeah, I mean, I did my reaction on That's Football after I'd done all the United stand stuff, and I said, lucky Arsenal, because, you're looking to talk about the game from an Arsenal point of view, and obviously, you've got AFTV as well, but, DR is about general football. And what I meant by that was I was very complimentary of Arsenal. They were lucky to catch a Man United side that wasn't ready for the start of the season, because I think being away opening game of the season is always difficult. Arsenal weren't at their best. They had to rely on a brilliant defence. And Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, they're ready for the start of the season. They'll probably do a little bit more business, but they're ready. Man United aren't ready. They're putting that goalie in goal. That's not ready. And although some United fans want to call it unlucky, I don't think we're unlucky. I said I was fuming that the board haven't got a key player in for the start of a season that everybody knows starts in the middle of August. So I don't know why. I mean, you can argue about the midfield, but I don't think the midfield was that much of a problem yesterday that we couldn't have got a draw. But the goalkeeper, there's a cross into Raya, exactly the same. He's being pushed by De Ligt. He comes and he punches it clear. Comes out and pats it into his own goal. So it's just, United played well yesterday. But when I said lucky Arsenal, I just mean that I think if they'd been playing a better prepared team, maybe a Spurs or someone like that, that would have been a more difficult afternoon for them, because United gifted a goal, and then Arsenal just got to go, you know what, opening day of the season, let's rely on our defence. We don't really need to go mad. Their midfield did an immense amount of running. The defence was working really hard. Yeah, there were, Saka was quiet, Gyökeres was quiet, but you think at 1-1 Arsenal have got gears as well. So I was okay about United's performance. It was better than I thought. I don't read anything into Arsenal's. It's opening day of the season. You win if you're bad, whatever, doesn't matter. But you're right. The goalkeeper situation that's on United. It's not unlucky that you put a goalkeeper in that's not very good.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought that even before the game. I thought that this summer. I was like, why have United not brought in a keeper? When I saw Trafford going to City and various different goalkeepers being sort of up. I just found that strange. Both them and Chelsea, that they haven't sort of moved in for a goalkeeper. But yeah, on the game, I think you've described it pretty well there. I think Arsenal. I was driving up to the game and I was thinking, because when this fixture first came out, I was like, oh my God, Man United away, first game of the season. That's hard enough any time in the season, let alone the first game. But when I was driving up, I was thinking, yeah, but you know what? Maybe this ain't bad for Arsenal, because all right, the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable, and the first game of the season, which it was. But I was thinking to myself, Sesko ain't going to be ready. They've just signed him. Mbeuemo, he hasn't really played all the games. He's been, obviously playing pre-season, but he's not played full games. nor as, these guys are still getting used to each other, a bit like our players are still getting used to each other. Maybe it's not the worst time to play them either, rather than you play them 10 games in and all these guys are up to speed. So it wasn't a greatest of games, I thought, especially from our side. I thought, like you said there, we got the 1-0 and it's kind of just dug in after that. And we were pretty wasteful with a couple of the counter-attacking chances that we had. But maybe it was a decent time to catch United. What else do you think United need then before, the end of the transfer window?
A goalkeeper, 100%. I mean, Raya yesterday made a couple of big saves. Nothing I wouldn't expect. He's a good goalkeeper, but that's the difference when you're in the top sort of four. So United need a goalkeeper, 100%. And I think yesterday, that's probably a draw. I think it probably is. So that's a big step. I also think the midfield as well. I don't think it was as big an issue yesterday, but I don't think Casemiro and Bruno work. Bruno in the midfield reminds me of putting someone like Wayne Rooney in the midfield. It's like brilliant player, but he's being played out of position. Casemiro hasn't got the legs. And as you mentioned, I think having Šeško from the start is important. As much as Mason Mount did a job, again, he's playing out of position. Cunha's playing out of position. I think United, but then you look at Gyökeres, who's been at Arsenal 2 weeks longer. And I was saying on my watch along, I just know United fans are going to be doing little compilations, and he was in De Ligt's pocket, etc. But that didn't surprise me either, Robbie, because I'm like, he's not match fit. You can see he's rusty. I picked him for Golden Boot. I think he will score a lot of goals. I'm looking forward to watching Arsenal next week, because I couldn't enjoy it yesterday because it's like against my team. But from a purely football point of view, I looked at the Arsenal team, I looked at the bench, and I went, you know what? It's not really any excuses, as we've said for Arteta now. It's like it's a good squad. It's got everything he needs. And I think you'd be over the moon, wouldn't you, with that result, really? Winning when you're not that great.
I'm absolutely over the moon to go away to Old Trafford. Remember, we didn't win there last year, right? And to go away to Old Trafford and come away with the 3 points when you're looking at a really difficult start that Arsenal got, that is a great 3 points for yesterday. Forget the performance, forget all of that. Yes, there are lots of things that need sorting out, but that, it was a great 3 points for Arsenal. Make no mistake about it. And when you consider the start with Liverpool coming up at Anfield in 2 games time as well, that was a great start. It weren't such a great start for Chelsea. There was lots of expectations around them, and lots of people talking up Chelsea. Listen, it's still, as we say, it's the first game of the season, but they would have very, very disappointed not to get off to a winning start. 0-0 against Palace, and maybe a bit fortunate as well. The Palace goal disallowed Eze with a great strike from that free kick. What did you make of that one?
I mean, to be honest, I had both games were on Sky, weren't they? So it was quite good. But I was watching the Forest game more, not because I'm a Forest fan or anything like that. It was just a better game. It was a better game because there was goals in it. So I just wanted to have a quick look at the Chelsea lineup, and looking at it, Palmer, Neto, Gittins, Pedro,
they're all in there.
Fernandez, they're all there. So I think again, it's sort of like when you look at the game statistically, they had more of possession. That's going to happen, but they didn't do enough, Robbie, looking at that. And I saw the highlights of it. But I think for Chelsea, I mean, they've had such a great end to the season. And obviously they won the Club World Cup and they've had a good transfer window. And they have bought in Delap and Pedro. But that is a classic Chelsea result. Look at Spurs against Burnley, and we'll talk about them. Classic Spurs would have been to draw or lose that. Obviously they didn't. That's a classic Chelsea result against a team where if you want to go from 4th to a title race, you've got to win those games. When Bournemouth and Liverpool are 2-2, Liverpool know what they've got to do. Chelsea got to find a way to win that yesterday. So look, I am very aware it's opening day. I was going to add that to the Arsenal-Man United game. It's like Arsenal fans are a bit concerned about it. We're long enough in the tooth to know that I remember United under Sir Alex, sometimes we'd have like 4 from 9. You can have a slow start. Pre-season doesn't really prep you for match sharpness, but maybe that's a fair point. Palace are a good side. They played Liverpool a week before, which was a competitive game. But they'll be disappointed with Chelsea. Chelsea will be that, because you see Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool winning, and you're dropping 2 points at home. But same old problems putting the ball in the back of the net, isn't it?
Yeah, and especially no goals. I think that would be the thing that would have disappointed them a lot. But as you said, opening day, and like you just touched on there, Liverpool 2-0 up. And I think this again sums up the rustiness of some of the teams, and also the fact that not even just so much rustiness, but teams need to get used to systems and stuff like that. They've got 2 new fullbacks in. It showed in that game. 2-0 up, and then Semenya with a double had them in trouble for a while. But the thing that's really last season got them out of trouble a lot of times is the firepower, and again it came to the fore.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of difference between Liverpool and Arsenal with the bookies, and I don't think there was a lot of difference in the opening weekend. Not perfect performances. We will see Arsenal and Liverpool play way better than they did, but they've both got 3 points. I think from Liverpool's point of view, probably one of the rare times I'd look at Slot and say he got it wrong. I thought that he made that double fullback substitution at 60 minutes, and within 15 minutes, it's 2-2. But then where Bournemouth, I thought, played really well, they've obviously lost a lot of players and they haven't got a bench, but Liverpool have got a bench, and that's what Liverpool and Arsenal and Man City and Chelsea have spent money on this summer. It's about having those big squads, probably for the Champions League as well. And they ended up just, with 4-2. Salah, very quiet game for Salah, but a bit like Saka, very quiet game. But then, maybe the opposition and the type of game it just opened up for him. But yeah, I think Liverpool, a bit like Arsenal. I think Arsenal would have probably got the same result against Bournemouth. They would have overpowered them. Arsenal with a tougher game, let's be honest. But both getting the job done, and that's quite ominous, really. So yeah, I just wouldn't be worried about performance if I was Liverpool. I'd just go, 3 points, move on. They look good.
Yeah. Big win for Spurs at home against Burnley. I mean, listen, we expect them to win it, but like you said, with Spurs, and especially what happened to them during the week, that would have been a little nervy one for them coming up against a newly promoted team on the first day. It was at home, though. 3-0 winners. And a great goal by Richarlison.
Yeah, I mean, it's early days with Spurs, but I watched them play PSG. And I know PSG have only just come off the beach, etc. But, it is Spurs. A lot of people thought they'd get hammered. And they've took that into the Premier League. And you can already see the contrast between Thomas Frank and Ange in the fact that Thomas Frank is just well organised. But what I like about him is that, you get that job from Brentford to Spurs, you get given the money and what you're going to do with it. And he wants to bring flair players in, like Kudus. They want to bring in Eze. They want to bring in that Savinho. So, it might not be this counter-attacking, boring football. I think Spurs fans definitely want to be entertained. Man City next week. I mean, the Premier League's just really exciting. You've got Arsenal in a couple of weeks with Liverpool. So I'm looking forward to that, the Man City game, because I think that's where you really understand what Spurs are about early in the season.
And Man City were back to being Man City, 4-0 winners away at Wolves. That was very, very impressive. Haaland, of course, scoring, who I think is going to get the golden boot. He weren't even on form last year, and he still comes second in the rating. And again, he scores. But Reijnders stole the show there, and they're looking impressive again, City.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I knew this is the only game of the weekend I didn't watch. It's and Man City fans can take the win on that. I watch them play Spurs, but when they're playing against teams like this, I just think it's normally a formality. And I thought they were Wolves were in it for a little bit, but they're a team that's going to be down near the bottom, and Man City are going to be a team near the top. And with Man City for me are the unknown. I don't put them with Liverpool and Arsenal, but they have got Pep in charge. Yeah, you do. So I think that they've got some good new players coming in. That Reijnders looked good. Haaland scored goals.
Cherky scored as well.
Yeah, he didn't start, did he? Came off the bench, but yeah, he's a good player.
Goal on his debut as well. Let me run through.
Keep an eye on them.
Sorry. I was saying, let me run through quickly some of the other games. Villa, Newcastle 0-0. But Newcastle did play well, despite, of course, they got no, striker now. Isak's still doing it. What have you made of this Isak thing, by the way? What have you made of Isak's behaviour with this?
I'm okay with it, really. I think.
What, a player going on strike like that? What if that was one of your players that say you bring in, Sesko, and then in 2 years' time he's been on fire at United, and then Real Madrid comes and he just downs tools when he's got 3 years left on his deal.
We have got 3 players on strike, really: Garnacho, Anthony, and Sancho. It's just that they're all crap, so I'm not that bothered. But no, I think with Isak, I'd be okay. I mean, look, really, you're right. He probably should be playing until he moves, like Eze and Guehi are. But that would be disappointing. But when I hear people like Shearer and that having a pop at him, I'm sort of like, well, hold on a minute. Like, he's obviously told Newcastle he wants to go. If Newcastle had got Šeško, Ekitike, Pedro, whatever, he would have gone. That's not, Newcastle are trying to get replacements, and Liverpool are sat there with a check that's going to be a British transfer record. So I just think it's timing. It should have already happened. And also, Wiz is doing it. Wiz is doing exactly the same, and Newcastle fans ain't moaning about that. So
that's true. That's true. But
football.
Still, it doesn't. You know what I mean? It don't look good, man. You've got 3 years left, right? And you've just basically just gone on strike. I don't like things like that. You are contracted to the club.
I'd be worried. You know what? I will admit, because I said this about Belabor and Man United. People were saying, "Oh, he needs to go on strike to force the price down." I went, "No, I don't want that. I don't want players that do that, because in 3 years' time, he's doing it to us to go to Real Madrid. I don't want players who are going to go on strike." And maybe that is a fair point if you're a Liverpool fan. Does he do that to you in 2 or 3 years to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid? Because apparently he has done it before. But in honesty, I don't think Newcastle are that desperate to keep him either. I just think it will get resolved. I mean, I think he'll end up at Liverpool, Robbie. I don't know about you.
And to be fair, Liverpool fans were losing it with Trent, who didn't go on strike. His contract was running out because he didn't want to sign a new one. So
he was too busy learning Spanish, though, wasn't he, really?
We are very fickle as football fans with short memories. All right. Running through some of it. So that was 0-0. Brighton won, Fulham won.
That's a good one for my win, lose, or draw,
Yeah, that was a draw.
Because I was like, Robbie's got that one. Then I saw the late equaliser. I was like, that's at least 1 point. I mean, I don't know how we're doing. But I
haven't even looked back over. I know we didn't get. None of us had that Chelsea game. That's for sure. Forest 3, Brentford 1, and Forest looked really, really good in that game. Still look
good
exciting
in the transfer window, don't they? As well, they're doing good deals.
Yeah. Brentford, by the way, is a team that everyone thinks are going to be in trouble this year. They look like a team that's going to be in trouble as well. They didn't look good at all. You'd be a bit worried if you're a Brentford fan right now. And of course, Sunderland beating West Ham 3-0. That was very impressive on their opening day.
I watched that on, I think I watched the highlights of that. And I was like, I don't know, because I didn't watch 90 minutes, so I put my hands up. But on the highlights, it looked like a really good game at 0-0.
Yeah.
West Ham had chances and a brilliant opening day win for a newly promoted. I really hope one of the newly promoted teams can push it. I really hope one of them can stay up, or even two. But Sunderland have spent really well. We spoke about it on Friday. Xhaka going in there with a bit of experience.
Yeah.
They've got a chance.
They definitely got a chance. And of course, there's a game on tonight. Leeds United at home against Everton, the new sort of put together Everton. And of course, they're one of them newly promoted teams. You got a prediction for that?
I can't remember what I predicted, but after the weekend, I can change it a little bit. I think it might be a score draw. 2-2.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be an exciting game. Yeah, I'll go draw as well. I can see that being a draw. Let's run through our team of the week. I've gone Raya in goal. I thought he had an outstanding game yesterday. Like you said, I expect him to make all those saves, but still, you got to make them. And he's under a lot of pressure. Massive atmosphere at Old Trafford, and I thought he looked really good.
I think being a good goalkeeper is about making the saves you make and not making the mistakes, especially in the opening day. So good performance. I put Raya down as well. I mean, there might have been a goalkeeper in a game I didn't watch 90 minutes of, but I think from what I saw, Raya,
I've gone left back, right. As I said, I'm a bit like you. I didn't study enough of a lot of other left backs, or might have been possibly put in a better performance. And this guy wasn't strictly a left back, but I thought Dorgu at United, I was very impressed with him. He looked very, very good.
I liked the Bournemouth lad, Truffert. I thought he did quite well, the new lad.
Yeah, he did all right.
But I'd go Dorgu. I thought he was one of our best players yesterday, so I agree with that.
Yeah, I've gone Hume at right back from Sunderland.
I'll agree with that. I just struggled to find a right back. Maybe someone in the chat can tell me one.
Yeah. I've gone Saliba as one of the centre backs. I thought out of our players, he's one of the players who had a better. He started off as slightly sloppy, but then he really grew into the game and was very commanding. And Ballard from Sunderland. Those are my two centre back pairings.
Yeah, I've got Ballard, and then I've got De Ligt, who was my man of the match for United yesterday. So, whatever. Saliba, whatever. I mean, Arsenal defended really well. People were like, they were lucky. Arsenal have got the best defence for the last 2 years. So, No, I
To be fair,
really
De
care.
Lit's a shout. He locked up Gyökeres. He played really well, but just because we won, I'll go Saliba. Midfield, I've gone Reijnders, who had a outstanding game for City and scored. Xhaka, winning start as captain at Sunderland, and they've kept a clean sheet. And Adam Wharton. This guy's, I've seen you guys being linked with him. I'll tell you what, that'd be a great shout for your midfield. I'm really impressed with him. Crystal Palace.
I'd love to get hold of him, but I don't think we will. But yeah, but to be fair, I put one of your players in. I mean, I think you've got 3 good midfielders there, but for a bit of balance, he'd probably be really good, actually. I put Odegaard in. I thought actually he played really, really well for Arsenal, but whether he's enough to get in that 3, I don't know. You're the Arsenal fan, but
funny thing is, it's funny, Mark, because that this is the thing that makes always surprises me, right? Is that a lot of our fans yesterday were giving him a lot of stick, saying that, he had a nightmare. I didn't think he had a nightmare. I thought he played well. He got through so much work. He was a little bit wasteful in that first half. There was a couple of times. There was one time when he sort of could have put a couple of people through, and then he lost the ball, and then you guys counter-attacked and nearly scored. But I didn't think he was that bad yesterday, the way some people were carrying on. But I don't think he's...
Yeah, stick yours.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't think he did enough to get into that midfield of those 3. They were excellent. And up front, I've gone Semenyo. And by the way, I can't get over that guy in the wheelchair. Well, if it was that guy in the wheelchair, because we're not sure of that racially abused him. I mean, what is this guy on in 2025? Haaland and Ekitike, who impressed me for Liverpool.
I had quite a selection. I mean, I've got Kudus in there. I thought he was brilliant for Spurs. I'd probably put him in over Ekitike, if I'm being honest. And then for Haaland, I also put in Wood and Richarlison. So I think those 3 certainly. Maybe Ekitike as well. One from those 4, but I think I would put Kudus on the right and Semenyo on the left.
Yeah. Much as I don't want to admit it, there's a big shout in there for Richarlison. He had an excellent game. He scored it. Probably
that goal was brilliant.
Probably the goal of the weekend. You know what? Right, I'm going to show that I'm not biased here. Right, I'm going to take out Haaland and I'm going to put in Richarlison. But I think Ekitike for a debut. That's why I'm going off of that as well. Debut, to score those goals, and then Semenyo getting racially abused in the game.
Yeah, I've got him.
2-0 down, and again he scored one of the goals. That goal, he literally run the whole length of the pitch. That was brilliant. And he, Bournemouth going to have to hold on to him. Seeing him getting linked with Arsenal today. He's even though he's just signed a new deal, but he's quality. So that's our team of the week. Mark, it's good to be back.
It is. I thoroughly enjoyed the Premier League. I think the first weekend, look at Villa Newcastle. I thought it was going to be a great game. It was crap. It was rusty. We had a few VAR moments. I mean, some people were saying, just on that, some people were saying, why are you not talking about United should have got a penalty for a foul for Saliba and Cunha? And I'm like, I thought there was a foul on Newcastle as well. I thought, Bournemouth should have had a man sent off. I ain't getting involved VAR this year. I'm trying to be calm about it.
I didn't even think that was... I don't think there's nothing wrong with that goal. And then if you actually look at it that way, then, right, you could see in the build-up, right, Zubimendi's trying to run and he just gets completely, stopped from making his run by,
No, I mean the tackle Saliba and Cunha in the second half. Have you seen it?
Oh, that one? Nah, that's not a penalty. That's never a penalty for me. That was just 2 players.
I've seen him give them, but... I don't get him. Look, at the end of the day, those sort of decisions, when you're moaning for that and your keeper's made an error, look, like I said, Newcastle could have had a penalty at Villa Park. Liverpool, Bournemouth man should have been sent off. VAR, what is what it is. Are we really going to say in 2025 VAR? We all know what it is.
Yeah, that Bournemouth one. That Bournemouth one. Come on.
He played volleyball, isn't he?
It's got to be sent off. I mean, sorry.
I'm glad he wasn't for the game, but it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it. I think it'll get better and better as well. I think teams are going to get sharper now. So really looking forward to it.
Definitely. Back on Friday, that's football. You'll be able to find out who came out on top in the first week of our predictions, right? And of course, we will be predicting the games for the weekend ahead. And of course, the big one next week is Man City versus Spurs. Mark, thank you very much. Have a great day. And to all of you guys out there, give us your suggestions for Team of the Week. Have we missed anybody off? I'm sure you're going to say we missed loads of people off, right?
He won't put 2 Spurs players in. That's his problem. He'll be doing a lot of it this year, I reckon. Dark horses for the league.
I put Richarlison in. You're trying to say, look.
Yeah, I did get one in, to be fair.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, everyone.